Good afternoon. We are the team number 7 and we are presented the ecosystem of pastureland. The team is conformed by Ana Isabela, me, Claudia Camila, Nelly Esmeralda, Katia Quetzali, and Areli Pinales. First, in Mexico, there are regions dominated by grasses with few tree source crops, primarily in Chihuahua, Coahuila, Sonora, Durango, Zacatecas, San Luis Potosí, and Jalisco, with temperatures ranging from 12 grades to 20 grades centigrade. Vegetations include grasses such as navajillo, buffalo, and popotillo, and scrubs such as the mesquite, ocotillo, and lechuguilla. Among the fauna, prairie dogs, brown-tailed antelope, bisons, hares, rabbits, and birds such as the golden eagle stand out. This topic we explore with the factors influencing this ecosystem, its impact, the diversity of plants and animals, the food web, and the environmental service it provides.
Now let's talk about the pasturelands. These are areas mainly covered by grass and a few small trees or shrubs. In some cases, they appear of their forests had been cleared. But in this presentation, we are focusing on natural pasturelands. Trees can still exist in these areas, like in savannas, but they are usually very few and far apart. So basically, pasturelands are open plant communities where grass dominate the landscape.
Levels of ecological organization. Organism: a single grass plant, cow or soil micropod. Population: all cows grazing in one area or all plants of the same species. Community: different plant species, herbivores, insects, and soil organisms living together. Ecosystem: interaction between living things, plants, animals, and non-living components, soil, water, and sunlight. In the pasture. Landscape: several connected pastures, hills, and grazing zones forming a larger grazing system. Biome: the grassland of or savanna region where the pastureland is located. Biosphere: all ecosystems on Earth, including pasturelands.
Geographic distributions. They occupy 6.1%, 180,320 square kilometers of the national territory. Natural grasslands are found in semi-arid regions with a cold temperature climate. They are widespread with the north of the country and cover large areas in Chihuahua, Coahuila, Sonora, Durango, Zacatecas, San Luis Potosí, and Jalisco. They are found between 1,100 and 2,500 meters. Although they can also be found at lower altitudes. Indoor grasslands can be found in almost any area of the country and cover another 6% of Mexican territory.
Types of pasturelands according to the climate. Temperate. They are found in regions with temperate climates, such as the Great Plains of North America or the steppes of Eurasia. And then we have tropical and subtropical. They predominate in regions with tropical climates and are commonly known as a savanna. Components of this ecosystem: we have producers. Plants, grass, white, make their food trunk, photosynthesis. And then we have consumers. They are animals, herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. And then we have decomposers. They fungi, bacteria. They break down dead material.
I'm going to talk about the flora and fauna of Mexico pastureland. These wide and open areas are home to many animals that have adapted to survive in such conditions. We can find small rodents, hares, and rabbits that move across the grasses, as well as larger animals like the pronghorn and bison, which represent the beauty and strength of these plants. In the sky, eagles, hawks, and other birds of prey watch from a boat while on the ground. Different birds or boring animals move around, creating complex connection in the ecosystem. Each species, whether big or small, plays an important role in keeping nature at balance. This shows how life can adapt and thrive even in the harshest environments. Thank you. A food web shows how energy moves from one living thing to another in ecosystem. All the animals and plants are connected because they depend on each other from food. At the bottom of the web, we have the grass and plants. They are produced because they make their own food using sunlight. All the other animals get energy from them. Next, we have the primary consumers like the grasshopper, rabbit, porcupine, pronghorn, desert dog, and mouse. These animals, not all of them, are herbivores. They eat to the plants to survive. Then we have the secondary consumers, such as the fox, desert vixen, burrowing plover, and black coyote. These animals eat the smaller herbivores like the rabbit, mouse, or grasshopper. At the top of the web, we are the tertiary consumers, the stronger predators, like the puma, banded falcon, and golden eagle. They eat other carnivores and help control the population of animals in the ecosystem. In this food web, every living thing is important. If one species disappears, it can affect all the others. That's why the food web helps us understand how nature stays in balance.
Niches and community interactions. Niches. Grasses and legumes producers use sunlight, water, and soil nutrients to grow. Grazing animals, cows, sheep, or goats. Primary consumers feed on grasses and help cycle nutrients through manure. Decomposers, fungi, earthworms, and bacteria break down organic waste, returning nutrients to the soil. Pollinators, bees, and insects support plant reproduction by transferring pollen. Each species has a specific role that keeps the pasture productive and balanced. Community interactions. Competition. Grasses compete for sunlight and nutrients. Animals compete for grazing, space, or water. Herbivory main interaction. Herbivores feed on plants, influencing which species dominate. Mutualism. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria in legumes enrich the soil. Birds eat insects of livestock.
Environment service. Most pastureland are used for culling horses. Pastureland are source of food, fiber, and fuel. They contribute to climate regulation, pollination, aquifer purification, and rigors, invasive species control, and carbon sequestration. They have cultural, spiritual, and recreation value.
Biological implications. Biodiversity loss and habitat fragmentation. Overgrazing and conversion to agriculture have led to the loss of valuable species. This severely impacts flora and fauna, including iconic and threatened species of the Chihuahuan Desert, such as the pronghorn American bison and the grassland birds, leading to the ecosystem fragmentation. Economic implications. Soil degradation and desertification. The removal of the vegetation cover due to agriculture and overgrazing intensifies wind and water erosion. Soil stability and aggregation are lost, diminishing its capacity to retain water and organic matter, which accelerates desertification. Political and social implications. Alteration of biogeochemical cycles. Soil degradation affects the water cycle and the functionality of grasslands as carbon sinks, as capture is reduced and greenhouse gases, methane and nitrous oxide, associated with livestock farming are released.
Good afternoon. Now I'll talk about proposal for grasslands protection in Mexico. First, we focus on ecological restoration. This means restoring native vegetation, regulating grazing, and using controlled burns to help recover degraded areas. Second, we promote community conservation by training local communities in sustainable practices and raising environmental awareness about important species like the golden eagle and the bison. Finally, we work on protected areas, strengthening and monitoring reserves such as Mapimi and Llanos to preserve grassland ecosystems. In short, these actions aim to protect biodiversity and maintain the ecological balance of Mexico's grassland. Now I'm going to talk about biotic factors, which are the living part of an ecosystem. We can divide them into 5 main groups. First, we have producers. These are plants like buffalo grass, mesquite, and lechuela that make their own food through photosynthesis. Then come the primary consumers, such as bison, rabbits, and prairie dogs, which feed on those plants. Next are the secondary consumers, like foxes, coyotes, and falcons, which eat the primary consumers. And after that, we have tertiary consumers, including the golden eagle and the lesser spotted eagle, which are top predators. And finally, decomposers like fungi, bacteria, and soil insects break down dead matter and recycle nutrients back into the soil. All these groups work together to keep the ecosystem balance. Then we have the abiotic factors, which are the non-living part of an ecosystem. In arid or semi-arid regions, the climate is dry with very little rain, and temperatures can be extremely hot during the day and very cold at night. The soil is usually sandy and not very fertile, and water is scarce and seasonal. Sunlight is abundant, and strong dry winds often cause erosion. All these conditions shape the way life adapts in these environments.
Finally, to conclude, grasslands are ecosystems with great natural and social value. Many species of plants and animals live in them, forming a well-balanced network of life. This area also helps regulate the climate, conserving soil, capture carbon, and maintaining water quality. They are essential for human activities such as the livestock and agriculture, and they hold important cultural and ecological value.